What the? Well, and it's an easy thing to do at this track because it's there. This is the house of speed. There's so many straightaways here where you have huge speeds that are gained in a short amount of time, but then you have a very short braking zone, a very quick chicane, or a very fast S turn. There's not a lot of areas to make mistake and then gain it back later in the lap. If you mess up the first chicane, you've already given up half a second on your lap. So it's very easy to go from being a 118 flat driver to a 119.2 driver, because if you mess up the first chicane, you lose that 0.5 of a second, then you're feeling that you need to overdrive the car the rest of the lap, and you start losing time in those other corners because you're overdriving the car. So it would not surprise me if we see that happen today, as Chandler is the first one to go sub 118 with a 117.99. I'm very honestly surprised that he's the first one to do it. I would have thought that we would have had a lot more drivers under that mark already, but we'll follow along with Deer Hunter as he's just purpled sector 2, so that makes him the fastest driver through the second sector. He gets a decent exit out of the scar. He's making his way down the straightaway now under the Rolex bridge. He'll come into Parabolica right here and fling it all the way down into 5th gear. Wow, he doesn't take 4th gear. He's going to stick with 5th. Gets very good exit, staying very close to the right-hand side of the track there, James. That's very unusual, but he does go 118.4, third fastest. Just looking along here, the two Alpha Tauris are down in 10th and 11th. I would have honestly expected to see Axe and Meanfriend a little higher than this. This is a track that favors the two of these drivers very well. Another one is ERS Ham Newton. I was talking apparently while our stream was off, not working anymore, that ERS Ham Newton in the Williams is a driver that has won here before. He's a title holder for champion of BRL Formula One in the past few years. It honestly surprises me that he's only run a 119.0. There had to have been a big mistake on that lap, because I would not be surprised if we saw Ham go close to a 118 flat. Ham has the pace. He's just got to extract it out of that car.
One driver with a lot of pace right now is Master Berserk in that Mercedes. He had a big slide out of the first Variante, almost ruined that lap. And you can see coming out of the parabolic as he put 2 tires into the gravel. Now through Ascari, he's still hot on the pace with a wide exit. This could be a fast lap for the Mercedes. Curve with Chandler Seda, who's on the outlap, sitting at the top of the board here, 117.99, and the only driver to do so, Alderfer. I think he's setting the bar quite high.
Well, he is setting the bar high, but we did see drivers in Tier 2 going 118.2, 118.3. We saw a lot of them down there in the lower 118s. So it really surprises me that every driver in Tier 1 has elected to go for the soft compound, and they're all running, most of them, in the mid 118s or higher. We've got from 4th place down to 9th. They're separated by 0.5 of a second from a 118.4 to a 119 flat. And then after that, they just fall off. RBM Mary seems to be struggling right now with her Ferrari. She set a 1:24.7 on her last lap. And Mean Fern, 1:19.7, that is well off the pace for what I believe Mean Fern should be running right now. Especially with Chandler setting a 1:17.9, that tells me that everybody is on dry setup. Nobody is expecting rain in this race, or if there is supposed to be rain, it's supposed to be a very short stint of it. So it really surprises me that some of these drivers just aren't able to extract that pace out of the cars. We see Mean Fern's already invalidated this lap.
I'm riding along with RBM Mary at the moment, and while Mean Fern has invalidated, this could be a moment for the Ferrari driver to increase her standings in the table right now. Going through the Ascari section, she does look like she's moving at a pedestrian pace, Aldifer, so I don't know if she's experimenting, and she now gives way on her lap to Mean Fern, so I don't know if she's experimenting or she just hasn't got clear space.
No, she's on an outlap. So now she's going to use that AlphaTauri as a great tow. She'll get a good exit. She'll use that AlphaTauri ever so slightly to get a little bit of a tow on the exit of Parabolica and now run down the main straightaway. You're going to climb all the way to almost 12,000 RPMs at 214 mile an hour and slam on the brakes all the way down to 50 mile an hour in second gear to try to get through that first chicane. And it looks like she's dealing with quite a bit of understeer, Rick. She put a lot of lock into it. The car just didn't seem to turn as much as you would think it would.
Perhaps the car is set up for more traffic and for less speed. I'm very curious to see. She gets through that second Variante with good pace through the Lesmos now. Oh, she has invalidated. You're absolutely right.
She invalidated there. Yeah, she invalidated there on the exit of the second chicane, which is easy to do. You have to try to straight line that chicane as much as possible. Which she did, but unfortunately she got the left side tires over that inside curbing, and that will be an invalidated lap time for her. Master Berserk still in the pit lane, yet to set a time with only enough time for one lap left. Chandler's in the pit lane, Hoops in the pit lane, VRL Pirandi is out. I believe he just started a lap. James, why don't you take us through the lap as we ride on board with the Renault?
Now with Moreno going through the first Variante, you can see he's third gear coming out of that, now fourth, fifth, and sixth. So he's not trusting his traction, he's not trusting his light-footedness there. Going through the Curva Grande, now up to eighth gear, 200 miles an hour and counting. 205 into Variante number 2, takes the left. 2 tires up on the right, the lap still counts and up into the Lesmos. 35 seconds on the clock now in Sector 2, backs it down to 130 miles an hour through Lesmo 1. 173 into Lesmo 2. 2 tires out, up over the rumble strips into the DRS section, now down the big straight into the Ascari section, under the old Monza circuit, the famous oval that we no longer race at. 212 miles an hour on the board as he gets over those curves through the Ascari section. Now 1 minute flat getting a tow from Oz Formula down the straight, nearly colliding, headed into the Parabolica. 206, 207, 207 miles an hour headed into the final curve with a big wide exit. Comes down to meet the grass to get a good straight shot down the front straight. Now at the line, the speed reads 1:18.260 on the board.
And now he's working with his teammate. If you look behind, he's giving his teammate in the other Renault a tow all the way down the front straightaway. And then he just straight lines that chicane because he's trying to help his teammate out as much as possible. Look at him lifting the throttle to try to stay right here in front of Oz Formula to pull that car down this straightaway. We'll see him move over to the left-hand side right there, and he'll allow his teammate to go by. We're right on board with his teammate for this lap just to see how the other Renault fares. His teammate just set a 1:18.2, which is good enough for third place. Can Oz Formula best his teammate as he goes through the second Lesmo now, down to fifth gear, take a lot of curbing on exit. He's got a car there in front of him now that's going to have to try to make it to the line with only 45 seconds left. I'm not sure who that is. That is one of the Pink Panthers, but Oz Formula has just purpled Sector 2. Now he's going to get a tow going down this straightaway from a very helpful Pink Panther. I believe that's going to be VRL Williams. And now he's got another car right in front of him helping to pull him down. It's going to be another racing point. It gets a little wobbly there on the entry. He's going to get a decent run on exit of Parabolica. This is going to be an improvement on his time. That's going to take him up to a 1:18.3 right behind his teammate. We'll drop up, or excuse me, we'll move up to Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter's sitting in 5th right now with a 118.4. He goes into the first chicane and he invalidates it. So we'll move back to his teammate, BRL Williams, as he goes through the first and second Lesmo. Now into the exit, takes plenty of curbing, stays just on the side of that white line, keeping the right-hand tires on that car just over the line so that way he does not invalidate as he runs up to Ascari, 212 mile an hour before he slams on the brakes, and it looks like B-Dunk has lost it. And he's rolled! Oh my goodness, that is one of the worst wrecks I've ever seen on this Formula One game. He has actually put the front of the nose into the wall and dug into the grass and rolled the racing point. Good thing this is a game where I would be... He's actually stuck into the frame. Yeah, good thing that this is a game or I'd be very worried about him. What a hit that car just took. And now as everybody else goes through, ERS Hampton